Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sunset Rewind podcast. I'm here with Coach Bynum today. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. One of my favorite coaches. I don't play favorites, but one of my favorite coaches in the Sunset League. Coach is at that phase still where he's transitioning from player to coach. But one of the things right off the bat that we have to talk about, given everything that happened, Coach was a UCI and then a Valpo guy, and
Correct.
then you spent time in Mexico.
Yes.
And that's an interesting topic for today because all hell is broken loose in Mexico.
It's pretty wild out there.
And what's crazy is it's one of those places, you think Cabo and Puerto Vallarta, no problem, but
Yep.
that's not the case.
Cancun.
That's
where I played as well.
How about your? Where were you down there? Let's start with that experience.
So I was in Cancun, so Quintana Roo, Los Tigres, 2020, and then COVID happened, sent us back home. Went back there in 21, and my experience was great. There was, you kind of have an idea of where not to go, and for the most part, we kind of stick out like a sore thumb when it comes just our overall size and presence and everything else accompanying with it. And then I went to Tijuana the following year. I was there for spring training, and then in Guadalajara, Bravos de Leon for the following year. And they're all different they all have their own uniqueness, if you want to call it that. But Cancun was a good spot and touristy, and it was fun.
It's a great spot. Tijuana is a little on the sketchy side.
Can be.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
We'll cut that. It's a little on the sketchy side, but I actually have been there many times. Never any problems. I did get hit by a cab, but all witnesses said all witnesses said that it was my fault, and there were like 11 people.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
That's a story for another time.
Okay.
I want to put let's put the wrapping on last year. So. The really interesting thing about the squad is when you look at the overall record, the record literally could have been flipped with 15 runs. There were that many close games that you guys played. What's coming back? How do you feel? What changes have you made from this year to last year?
We're definitely the overall culture we're trying to still create and change, and I think this year we're going to be the team that takes advantage of those close games in our favor, and be the team that's scrappy. That we have to play Marina again. Take those 0-2 at bats, turn them into a 10-12 pitch at bat, turn something out of nothing. Get the bunt down at any time, and truly just control what we can, right? And slide hard, not dirty. There's a difference. And just be that team that no one really wants to play, because we're never backing down, whether or not we have the 95 in the bullpen, which we don't, right? Or the big D1 commits. I don't think it's really needed. And last year kind of showed that. As you mentioned, we were close in every game. And I think this year we're going to, as a staff, also have to control a little bit better of what we have control over, which isn't a lot at times. We're not up to bat. We're not throwing the ball. We're not making the play. But at the same time, if something makes sense from a statistics standpoint, we're going to do it. We're going to be a little bit more reliant on the X's and O's of the decision making that hopefully defer the score at the end of the game in our favor.
And then you do a lot of work with kind of the youth and the younger players, and this is kind of where you're kind of starting to get more of your, I don't want to say your guys, but
no, for sure, yeah, a little bit more presence in the community that's coming into Marina, if that makes sense. That not just myself, but even some other coaches in the program at Marina have also worked with, that helps, and having baseball players that are coming in that just know the game a little bit better than in the past, and teaching a varsity team where to bunt with a guy on first, and first and third plays for the first time, and understanding a sign system that ironically they didn't really have in the youth side of things. Has been a challenge. So I think just having kids coming in that know the game and have been exposed to these things is going to help a lot. And it already shows with we have younger guys on the team this year. We have 2 freshmen that are going to start, and we have a sophomore that's going to start as well. And that's the first that we've really had that. So I think it's going to help a lot. And then speaking of the freshmen that are also on the lower levels, we look forward to them in the next couple of years.
Talk to me about the. Let's start with the pitching staff. Are there a lot of returners? What do you look like? Kind of, let's say 1 through 4, 1 through 5.
Yeah, we got to actually. Ironically, you think prior to last season we wouldn't have as many innings coming back, but then just how season unravels. We have quite a bit of arms coming back that has the varsity experience. We have Bradley Hall, Brody Schatzman, which was second team all league last year, coming off of basketball as well. So that transition itself is always, it can go one or two ways, but he's a good kid. He's been working hard. Justin Rackley coming back. Liam Haynes is healthy this year, which is a huge arm on the mound in general. I was going to say in the bullpen, but he's going to be utilized starting, bullpen, whatever. He's a solid guy to have back that last year was injured. So having those arms coming back that did have a majority of the innings last year is huge. We don't have a Nick Murray this year who was ate up a lot of innings, and Tate Morris didn't have as many innings as we wanted, but it kind of helped us for the future, if that made sense, because it gave other opportunities to more pitchers coming back. So definitely happy about the staff, and we have a transfer that came in that's able to pitch right away, Ethan Pushckor. He was homeschooled the previous year, and he's fits in really well. So I'm excited as a senior. And we also have another transfer that within 30 days of the sit-out period, he's going to help us, and that's Jackson Velarde. So we have some good arms. We're excited.
And then what about in terms of sticks? I mean, 1 through 9, how do you feel? You feel pretty confident with? I mean, I know with there's always an adjustment period with freshmen and sophomores.
Absolutely.
But I think one of the things that I've noticed is that I think that's kind of gone away certainly from my era, because they've seen so much competition
that's true.
That's super similar to varsity baseball, but there's still the playing for your school. There's the crowd. There's
it's a lot of different. Yeah, and it's cool. I try to explain that to people outside of the high school realm, and I was including myself prior to being the head coach at Marina. I was just on the travel ball side, and it's a huge difference. It's a huge difference, and so there's going to be that adjustment, so to speak, with the younger guys, but they haven't been exposed to a lot of baseball, kind of what you were speaking of, in all different realms, right? Traveling to Georgia, Arizona, Florida, but it is different in high school baseball. You're around your peers that you see every day at school, the stands, the whole overall presence is different, but I'm confident in our lineup for sure. And we have some guys coming back too. Max Conde, second team all league as well, catcher behind the dish. He's gonna be back there almost every game, and having him in the lineup, and he's gotten in better shape this year. He's been working hard, and having him as an overall leader in the lineup has been nice. So
how is it with because in terms of support from the community, from the school, it seems like you're on the right trajectory of kind of getting that all to a higher level.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it starts with what we're putting out there, as a staff, and definitely appreciate, our booster program, the parents involved, the word of mouth, I think, is getting out there that, Marina's trying to do something different, and we are. So I think that in itself, and aside from even the score, just what we're trying to represent as a program, I think it's going to help bring in more and more players and kind of help differentiate, I guess, the choices, right? And Marina being one of the hopefully main choices for some of these parents.
And then how did you set up your early season schedule? I know you had some games bounced around. You guys open actually with Dana Hills
tomorrow now, yeah.
And then are you guys? And I think you have 3 or 4 games, and then you're right into league.
Yeah, and then so we definitely have a heavier schedule in terms of more games at once. We're not spread out as well as we would like. Honestly, it's just kind of how it worked out, and we're ready for it. We're ready to go, and like I said, the rain adjustments happens to everybody, and it's that in itself is also an adjustment to talk with so many different coaches. And is your field ready? Is our field ready? Can we do this? Can we do that? And I think it might be in our favor. Like as I mentioned earlier, Dana Hills played a doubleheader, I believe, on Saturday. So that maybe helped us out. We'll see. So
it's so funny if you go back and look at version 1 of what you wanted the schedule to be versus what actually happens to the schedule by the time it all shakes. I mean, it's every just year. Like yeah. We're putting ours together now, and it's like that's that and taking care of the field are the 2 things they don't put in the job description.
No, they do not. We were out there yesterday for a little bit, so but thankfully, like I said, even the school support. We have great maintenance guys that help out all the time, and if anything, shout out to them as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
So as it shakes out, I mean, Huntington is the let's call them the perennial power.
Sure.
Fountain Valley made it to the semis. They look like they're going to be
Pretty solid.
super solid again. Harbor looks really good. And then Los Al's just Los Al, so they'll be good. But I'm wondering if you have a particular what's funny is that there's the natural rivalries between schools, but do you look at it more, or actually does the team and the kids look at it more Edison or Huntington as the rival?
I think we're more excited to play Huntington every year. I could feel that vibe 100%. When it comes to a rivalry, in my experience as a coach thus far, I would say the actual rivalry is more so with Edison. And like it's all good. Like I stated earlier with the, changing the culture and whatnot, like we got a little scrappy in the past with Edison, and we're hoping to change that in terms of, instead of using, select words, it's just how we play, right? So, but I would definitely say the rivalry lies with Edison, and the excitement is still and always will be when we play Huntington, a little bit higher than I think, in all honesty, the whole season. So it's always fun.
Well, it's funny. I mean, baseball is such a tinderbox at that age. You got 16, 17-year-old kids, and I mean, it's we had some pretty good dust-ups back in the day, and I think it's good that you try to avoid them. But it's always interesting to hear the coach's viewpoint versus the player's viewpoint on who the actual rival is.
Well, and then earlier in the year, one of our players mentioned, it was asked kind of like on the mic, was who you look forward to playing, and they said Fountain Valley. So, and I will say something last year occurred, and it's out of the coach's control. It happens. Right. Boys will be boys, yeah. But something did occur last year that I think is fresh in our mind as well. So I think that's going to be a little bit more of a rivalry again. So nice. I honestly, everyone in the league, we're always going at it.
Well, that's
it's a good thing. It's good. It's fun.
That's the thing, is that with this league is that you guys have been going at each other enough where and I was talking to Coach Cap, I think, about this, but in a 3-game series, by the third game, there's enough. People are there's enough stuff that's gone down that
emotions are high, and now I tell the boys, hey, let's play with emotion, but don't be emotional.
Right.
And I think that's going to be a huge takeaway as well from last year. I think those close games, I think there was a lot of emotions involved. Play with passion, play with heart, but like I said, don't be emotional.
I'm fascinated to hear your take on it, because you kind of span the spectrum in terms of from playing high school, college, and pro, and then you do a lot of work with the younger kids with your organization there. But what's your take on what's going on in college right now, in terms of if you're a player coming out? I talked about it with some of the other coaches, but certainly the JCs are back, really. I mean, not that they really went anywhere, but they're to me, that's a landing spot for players, as the NIL does and transfers and all that's not a bad route if you're a baseball player, to go the JC route.
Yeah, it's never been a bad route in my opinion. I wish I would have had a little more insight even as a player back then, in terms of choosing colleges and choosing the program itself. And I think that nowadays the portal opens up so many windows for so many players in a good way, and also it might hurt some in other ways, right? So it's just having that option, especially in California, is huge, and would never steer a player away from going that route if it made sense, right?
And then another thing that baseball has, as well as basketball, and having gone through this with my daughter, it's amazing how many great D2s and D3s are out there, where it seems like if you want to go play, that's a place to go play. I think the D1 allure, like we get all the stuff with putting that hat on and doing all that, but if you actually want to play and have more of a chance to play, it's not a bad route to go.
I was talking to a good friend earlier today who has a son that plays in the area, and we were talking about another player saying, I think he's better than Division II, so to speak, and he thought there's a good fit for him. And I think everything has its pros and cons, but for certain players, Division II is a great option. And nowadays, like I said, if you go off and you still want to have that hunger to play at the Division I level, and that's still an option, which is wild.
Right, it's crazy. I mean,
it
used to be, there used to be such a finality in it,
100%.
in the decision. Now it's like, hey, go play there for a year.
Yeah,
if you're that good, you can
show
transfer
everybody.
Transfer
absolutely.
the next year.
Yeah, so it's cool. And going back even the JUCO conversation, like California is such a mecca. So it's like if you're playing baseball competitively in this area, there's a chance that you can go even higher. Or there's a chance that, hey, this wasn't a good fit, I can go somewhere else. And I think that there's so many options, and leave them all open, right?
Anybody on, how many seniors are there on your team?
We have 14.
14 seniors. How many of them, you get some guys that are getting some looks or going somewhere already?
We're trying to get some looks on them, and I think this season's going to be relying on some to determine where they go, but more than likely a junior college route.
Yep.
That's the route that a majority of our players that are going to continue to play after this year are probably going to go that route. They're a senior.
So you ready for some questions?
I'm ready.
All right. We got new questions this week.
Okay, let's roll.
Your favorite book?
Favorite book? Oh, man.
This is a stumper for baseball guys, because we all look at each other like, reading.
Going back to like when I was in high school and even college, which is pretty bad. You might have stumped me on this one, honestly. You know what? I'm going to go to a book that I read when I was my kid's age, Greatest Dodgers of Them All.
All right.
Look it up. It's a good book.
Is it a good book?
Yeah, it basically tells a bio of every player. That's good.
Perfect.
So
I like
I'm going to go with that one.
Outside of coaching, what's your favorite place to hang out in the Huntington area?
To hang out in the Huntington area. I'm not going to say gym. It's a little too cliche. I get enough borderline harassment from the coaches in the league, so I will not say that. Honestly, anywhere with my kids, anywhere with them, I'm happy. So the house, the beach, there's so many options in Huntington. So to hang out per se, whatever we're gonna go Sky Zone after this. So that's an option. I'll say Sky Zone.
Now. If that's one of your favorite places, I'm
with them, all right?
I used to, that was a lot of injuries back when my older kids were that age. I'd get out there in the Sky Zone. And,
you would?
I would, yeah.
Oh, I haven't bought those socks yet to go out there.
Lost a hamstring there, and then had a minor elbow injury going into the pit.
Gotta be careful.
Got to be careful there.
Yeah.
And then 3 kids, correct. And we got 5, 6, and 9.
Yes.
And a soccer player.
Yep.
And two daughters a soccer player, and then 2 baseball players.
Yeah, they do everything right now: baseball, basketball, and football.
And
so it's pretty cool.
So Sky Zone, what else do they like to do?
Oh man, they like to do everything that involves movement and staying active, which is awesome because it's how I am. So we're always moving, always moving.
Even though Coach is a couple of years younger than me, we have similar ages on kids. But have you seen any of the content that they're putting through on YouTube, like some of the kids shows?
It's bizarre.
I
don't understand it. Like kids playing with toys and they watch them. I don't know.
It's the weirdest. It's so far. If you don't have little kids, it's so far from Scooby Doo, you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And then they've gotten smart enough where they can figure out at 3 how to say what they like. They can figure out how to buy it, or at least show you the screen to buy it, which is horrifying.
Nuts.
And there's like demon hunters. It's nuts.
Yeah, they're not on the iPads that often, which is nice. So I don't have to worry about that too often.
We try to limit it, but it's hard, isn't it? And then that gets us to the to the question: what are your rules for your team around social media? Or do you have a conversation about it?
We have a conversation, yeah, and just say, hey, majority of times if it's put out there, it's forever out there, right? So be smart about what you say, be smart about the pictures, the environment that you're in, and nowadays too, like it's not just for our program, but if you're looking to play in another program post high school, those programs have accessibility just like anyone else, and if you're showing that you're in X places that aren't maybe the most suitable, that might alter your chances of going there, so just be smart about what you say, be smart about where you post, and as much as we said earlier too, boys will be boys and have fun and whatnot, but Nowadays, there's so much legality behind it as well that just tell them to be smart. And if they ever have a doubt to post something or to say something, probably don't.
All right. Well, I'm excited to get out there. I'm going to be taking batting practice at all the fields. Coach has assured me that there is a wind tunnel that heads out into right, and I'm excited to get out there and see you guys. I think this is. I think you're in a great spot. You have now started to put your culture in. I think you guys are. Not that the pressure's off, the pressure's always on, but I think you guys were super competitive last. I mean, if you watched it and really knew what was going on, it was this close, and I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see what you guys do this year. I think what you're building over there is amazing, and can't wait to come see you guys play.
I appreciate it. We're excited.
Get after it.
All right, sounds good.